The tourist, certain he could do anything, reached for the guard's weapon. But one swift move stunned the crowd and changed the day entirely at Buckingham Palace. What happened next? At dawn, the soft sun lit London, bathing Buckingham Palace in golden hues. A royal guard stood upright at the entrance, as still as a statue. He embodied British resilience. A tall bearskin hat, a meticulously pressed red uniform, and a gaze fixed straight ahead. For him, this was more than a job. It was his life's duty. Tourists swarmed the area, armed with cameras and phones, buzzing around the guard like ants to sugar. Some admired him, others tried to make him laugh, each one eager to snap the perfect photo. A few couldn't resist testing if the guards were truly as unshakable as the stories claimed. Among them stood a young man in a bright t-shirt that read, "I rule London," with sunglasses perched on his head. His loud voice boomed over the crowd. "Hey dude, let's take a selfie!" he shouted, a cocky grin plastered across his face as though he was the star of the show. The guard, as protocol demanded, didn't react. This was his job, to stand immovable and dignified, no matter the provocation. But the tourist was determined to escalate. He edged closer, waving his phone and laughing. "Why so serious? Come on, man. Let me hold your cool thing for the photo, huh?" The crowd stirred. Some chuckled along with the tourist, others frowned in disapproval, but most silently recorded the scene. Everyone seemed to anticipate something extraordinary. Feeling the attention on him, the tourist amped up his antics. "Lighten up, bro. It's just for fun," he said, pretending to reach for the guard's hat with an exaggerated motion. The air grew tense as the crowd held its breath. The guard remained steadfast, his face as expressionless as stone, a silent reminder that this was no circus act, but a solemn post of honor. Yet, beneath his unflinching exterior, the guard felt a flicker of frustration. Tourists like this one saw only an opportunity for amusement, oblivious to the weight of the traditions he upheld. Still, his duty demanded restraint, a discipline far above personal feelings. The tourist wasn't done. He extended his hand toward the long bayonet-tipped rifle the guard held with precision and discipline. This weapon wasn't just an accessory. It was a symbol of authority and service. As his fingers neared the rifle, the guard took a deliberate step forward and issued a firm command. "Stand back, sir." The voice was deep and commanding, ringing out like a warning bell. The crowd went silent, sensing the gravity of the moment. But instead of retreating, the tourist smirked arrogantly. "Oh, look who talks now. Come on, show me what you've got," he jeered, grabbing the rifle's barrel. The crowd gasped in unison. A ripple of unease swept through the square. Phones shot up to capture the unfolding drama. Children froze, their games forgotten, sensing an invisible line had been crossed. In one swift, practiced motion, the guard pulled the weapon free and stepped forward, his voice ringing out like a hammer blow. "Do not touch the Queen's Guard!" The tourist stumbled back, his nervous laugh betraying his growing discomfort. Around him, the murmurs of the crowd grew louder. "Unbelievable! Does he think he's above the rules?" Faces turned toward him, their expressions shifting from amusement to condemnation. Desperately trying to recover, the tourist attempted to laugh it off. "Hey, relax! It was just a joke! No big deal!" But his tone faltered, and his grin faded as he noticed the stern faces around him. The guard, as if nothing had happened, resumed his post. His stoic demeanor now seemed to radiate an unyielding strength. The crowd's whispers shifted again, admiring the guard's composure. Someone muttered loudly, "Now that's a man with dignity." Nearby, an elderly woman clutching the hand of a small girl approached the guard. Her hands trembled slightly, and worry clouded her face. She seemed reluctant, but determined. The crowd parted to let her through. "Excuse me, sir," she began hesitantly. "My granddaughter dropped her toy beyond the fence." The guard paused, a hint of thoughtfulness flickering in his eyes. By protocol, he wasn't supposed to move without cause. Yet, understanding the importance of small acts of kindness, he broke formation. The crowd watched in hushed amazement as the guard stepped toward the fence, knelt gracefully, and retrieved a small stuffed bear. Rising, he handed it back to the girl with a quiet dignity. Her face lit up with joy as she hugged the toy tightly. A ripple of applause broke out, hesitant at first but growing louder. Phones captured the touching moment as the elderly woman bowed her head in gratitude. "Thank you so much, sir," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You've made her day." The guard returned to his position, his face as stoic as ever. But the gesture spoke volumes. In the crowd, the tourist stood frozen, his smug expression replaced by shame. His earlier antics now seemed utterly juvenile compared to the guard's simple yet profound act. Someone near him remarked loudly, "Now that's a real man of honor, not like some people." The words struck the tourist harder than any reprimand. The crowd seemed to part before him as if silently urging him to leave. Blushing deeply, he shuffled away, his bravado thoroughly deflated. As the tourist walked off, he muttered excuses. "Hey, it was just a joke, no big deal." But his words fell on deaf ears. Videos of the incident were already being uploaded. Hashtags like #RoyalGuard and #RespectTradition trending within hours. That evening, the guard resumed his post, his unwavering presence a symbol of duty. A passing gentleman paused briefly to say, "Good work, sir," his tone sincere. The guard offered only a slight nod in acknowledgement, his silent strength speaking louder than words. That day, the honor of the Royal Guard remained intact. The arrogant tourist, however, walked away with a lesson he wouldn't soon forget, and the crowd left with a newfound respect for the unspoken traditions and the steadfast figures who upheld them.